Yo, what up, y'all? Listen, so I want to make sure you guys can hear me. In my first video that I did on liquidating credit cards, I was told that there were some sound issues, so I want to do a part two, right? So in the first video, I gave you guys a list of ways to pull cash from your credit card. So we talked about cash advance, we talked about merch accounts, we talked about gift cards, we talked about um I believe it was, we talked about, I believe there was one more way, right? So also I want to add a few more ways that we can use cash or pull cash from our credit cards. Now remember, depending on what type of methods you are using, there can be, we talked about personal loans. That was the other one. So depending on what type of method you are using, there may be restrictions. Always pay attention to those restrictions when it comes to your bank, right? So let's also talk about PayPal and payment services, right? So you can send money to friends or family or someone that you trust, a spouse or someone of that nature, and then they can take the cash off of their account for you. Now that may include fees and restrictions. What do I mean by restrictions? Restrictions means that depending on your terms and conditions with each credit card company, it may be a restricted or a limited amount that you can actually take from a credit card, or not being able to actually pull cash within certain methods, like we talked about with the gift cards, right? If your credit card company does not allow you to buy gift cards as a transaction and pull them off the credit card, then you cannot do that. So always check with your particular lenders. We talked about merge transactions, money orders. Typically, you would pay cash using a money order. If a service allows you to use a credit card, which will probably be for a fee, you could use that money order to be able to pull cash with that money order and turn it back in, right? Now, last one is a company called Plastic. So you will use a company called Plastic, which is PLASTIQ, to pay bills that you would typically pay with cash and be able to use that account to pay your bills and then use that cash for different expenses, right? So when you're trying to pull cash off of a credit card, the one thing you want to be mindful of is, what am I actually pulling this cash for, right? What am I actually using this money for? Because everything that I just listed, every type of way that I have just listed in order to liquidate a credit card requires a fee, right? Even if you are transferring the money to your merch account or your business account, right? Even if you are doing a transaction with a credit card, but you're doing a transaction with a company such as Apple Pay or Cash App, and you're using a credit card, you're going to incur fees. If you're doing cash advance, you're going to need your PIN number, you're going to need your ATM card, you are going to incur fees by the day. So you want to be very mindful of what exactly are you using to pull this cash off for. Is it a immediate emergency, something that you need the cash for right away? Or are you just trying to pull cash because you're short on cash? So you want to be very mindful of while you're actually pulling the money. You want to be very mindful and make sure you are also paying the money back. Just because you are pulling the cash does not mean that you do not have to pay this money back. You do have to pay the money back, and you want to be very mindful. Like I said, cash advance occurs each day. So you want to make sure that if you are taking a particular amount of money, that you are doing it seldomly. You are not doing this all the time. Take the amount of money that you need. You can use any of these ways that I just explained to you guys. You can also go back to that first video, which I pretty much summed up for you to let you know. I talked about, cash advance, which you got to call up your lender and get your and get your ATM card to be able to get your PIN number to pull from the card. You want to do, if you're doing the gift cards, you will purchase the gift cards and then go to a particular company that purchases gift cards for cash. If you're doing, like I said, cash advance, if you're doing a merch account, you want to transfer the money to your business or your merch account and then pull that money from their bank account. And then, like I said, if you're doing plastic, you want to utilize that to pay certain bills that you may typically pay in cash, and then money orders. We all know how money orders pretty much work. You want to sign that, fill that out, make sure you sign your name on the back, and then turn that back in. And those are pretty much the ways, guys, that you can liquidate your credit cards. Part 2.